So this is the second chapter of what's likely to be 3 chapters of the Kingswood Brotherhood, their origin story essentially for House Hilwood. So where we left off last time, I think everybody probably remembers that Black Ben, Theomar, and Peter were fleeing the Black Brothers back towards Hilwood and were overtaken at the very last moment, and Peter was killed. Black Ben and Theomar survived with both injured. So we can go here. Okay, so you got back to the lodge, very, very close to being killed, obviously. Peter essentially sacrificed himself for everyone else, even though he did fall off the mule. But his delaying them gave Black Ben and Theomar both a chance to ride past the gatehouse, and the gatehouse was able to volley some arrows back towards the road and drive off the riders and your pursuers. So there we go. All right. It had been 3 days since the abduction of Lady Hilwood. Black Ben and Ser Theomar had given their accounts before being treated by a maester for their grievous wounds. For 2 days, both were in and out of consciousness, their sleep brought on by milk of the poppy given to them to ease their pain of their wounds and of their heart. For not only had they suffered personal injury, but the head of Lady Talia's personal guard, Peter, had been slain in the final moments of their long and grueling escape. Today, both Theomar and Ben had been given leave to depart the care of their maester and attend Peter's funeral. In a large clearing below the lodge, a funeral pile had been constructed. Peter's body had been laid in the middle of several smaller but connected funeral beds, with his body covered with a green silken cloth which obscured his terrible injuries from those that watched the final moments of the man's service to his lord and house. The other bodies were those killed by the bandits that had stolen away with Lady Talia and tortured Peter, Ben, and Theomar. The 2 survivors had heard Lord Garth order his men forward immediately on the directions given by Ben before he succumbed to poppy dreams. Unfortunately, all they found were the dead, including the young man, Dustin, that had provided for your escape. Okay, so currently Lord Garth holds the torch, and feel free to roleplay. You're all standing around a currently unlit pyre, and many of the house servants, knights, and essentially anyone with any kind of status whatsoever has joined the funeral procession. So go ahead and feel free to roleplay what you guys do.
Ben stood there quietly, his arm in a sling, feeling his finger ghosts as they tingled from the memory of the few days past, the grueling escape, the grueling loss of his fingers, the injury by Peter, the injuries by all of them, both mental and physical. He stood there quietly, head down, thinking how he would proceed next and avenge his fallen comrade and the lady of the house.
Theomar standing besides Ben, I would think, through this process. He is holding a cane after being coincidentally crippled into the knee, with that cut. And in a purple damask suit with a sailed ship, white on it, on a midnight purple field, watching the fire and silently murmuring a prayer to the Father. May he judge you justly.
Otto, standing beside the Lord of the house, not a man known for showing emotion, but a tear runs down his cheek as he looks upon his son's pyre. But also a look of anger on his face. He wishes to see justice done.
Lord Garth takes a while to kind of let the mood change as the torch gets lit by one of the carry-ons of the fire. One of the servants that comes on and brings the torch and waits for it to be ignited, and he holds it very kind of staunchly. And Lord Garth, during the beginning of this procession, has been very kind of almost kind of angry, kind of like locked silence almost. He hasn't spoken to much to any of you other than to get Blackman may have spoken with him over the initial onset of whatever this was. And it's been a while since Garth has actually made any notion of actually moving or doing anything in nature. He's been just kind of almost seething in his anger, it looks like. And he kind of rolls up to look at everyone and all the procession as if to speak. I have no idea what has transpired here today, or to these few men that came here, or what happened to Lady Talia. I will personally never know, but the men who have survived, they will. And I promise to each and every one of you, I will find out and deal with these people. And he kind of grips the torch a little bit too hard, and you can hear the wood kind of strain. And he puts an arm around or on Otto's shoulder. We won't forgive what these traitors and these trespassers have done. And he kind of lowers the torch on one corner, and he slowly passes it off to his friend and most loyal retainer, Otto, as he lights one edge of the corner.
Otto accepts the torch from Lord Hilwood and proceeds to light the pyre. I suppose then passes the torch on to someone else to light the others.
So you pass the torch off to another servant, and they go around and light the rest of the pyres. There's probably a half dozen of those. Peter's pyre starts smoldering and catches quickly, and although you cannot see his face, his body is quickly consumed by the flames, and after a few moments, the heat is too intense for you to stand close, and everyone is forced to stand back as the fire rages above the burning body, and the last moments of your son's existence, essentially, besides being skeletons and ash.
Otto lingers a moment longer than everyone else. His whiskers sort of singe a bit before he steps away.
As to not intrude, I think Garth has stepped away, but only just slightly. He's probably still waiting for Otto to turn, and when he does, Garth's standing there.
Well, after a moment, Otto does. Turns, approaches Garth.
I'm sorry for your loss, my dear friend.
Aye, my lord. The lad was doing his duty. What he'd have wanted.
Yes, but part of me wishes he would have died with some taking more with him. But he did as you said. I won't ever forget what he sacrificed for me. For all of them. And for you.
My thanks, my lord. Now, let us go save the Lady Talia.
Yeah, and he just kind of, again, clasps him on the shoulder and goes to turn away.
Black Ben walks up and says, if it wasn't for his bravery and actions, myself and Theomar would not be here today. And while I may be down one hand, you have my whole body in an attempt to track these men down and bring them to justice.
Theomar would follow up with them and say, my hands, my body, my mace, my shield, all of it come for you, Lord Hilwood, and to Lord Otto here as well, for Peter's sacrifice. I have a debt to pay.
Otto looks at Ben and Theomar, nods his head. You lads were good companions to my boy. We'll see justice done.
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
Theomar would nod in agreement. Go ahead.
Ben, I'll have word with you later.
Yes, my lord.
I'll be needing your advice, more information, anything you know about them. I know you spoke with me briefly before our maester took you away to deal with your wounds, but I'll need to send you either by yourself or more information gathered. But just meet me around the table when we return back to the home.
Black Ben looks at him with a resolution in his eyes, or a resolute eye, and says, aye, my lord, it will be done.
Yeah, and I mean, Garth isn't going to say much more. I mean, he's going to be on his way.
Theomar's gonna linger behind and pay his respects to the other man who had whisked us away, Dustin, for a second as well.
Okay. So the gathering of the funeral slowly disperses as the flames slowly die and the words have been said. A Septon comes and speaks the words, giving them blessings from all the seven, and wishes them a pleasant, gives them strength to pass to the stranger for the last hours. And eventually everybody sort of disperses, and what you see is the Silent Sisters come down to recover the bones of the dead, and Peter is to be buried in the ancient crypts of House Hilwood, which is a great honor. And otherwise, pretty much our men of import, Otto, Black Ben, Garth, and Theomar, head back to the castle after grieving in their own way. And a couple hours later, they end up in a chamber of Lord Garth's. When they arrive, one moment. When you arrive, whoops. The funeral was somber. Loss of life was a man's duty in service to his lord and lady, but this was not war. This was something else entirely. After the funeral, Ben and Theomar were given no chance for respite, instead being ushered through the castle to the meal hall that was typically reserved for men and women of the court. Seated at the table were 3 men at this point. They were all known to Ben and Theomar. Of course, first was Lord Garth, Lord of House Hilwood, and second was Peter's father, Otto, who had served as master-at-arms for the lodge for many years. And then, of course, was Maester Aubrey, their caretaker for the last few days. Aubrey was a swarthy man and clearly hailed from Dorne, but before he made his chain. Like all maesters, he never spoke of his life before the Citadel. And so, Maester Aubrey, who had spoken to Otto and Lord Garth before the 2 injured men had arrived, brings forth a piece of parchment. In the parchment, he unfurls it and begins to read. Father, repeated attempts to locate the bandits that stole away with Mother have gone unsuccessful. We have spoken to the small folk throughout the woods and no one claims to know anything. There have been signs of their trail here and there, but any leads have quickly led to dead ends. Oddly, our forces were approached by a man representing the whores. He states he knows about those that took Mother and may be able to help. He insisted that we meet with their ilk on the next 3 days hence, near the Windwater. I advise caution. These men could be the men that stole away with Mother. I will continue the search for Mother as they wait for your arrival, or not, as you wish. Your son, Damon. And I'll give you some background on the whores. These are men that have banded together in the Kingswood. They're notorious poachers, and that's essentially their main crime. Lord Garth has been at odds with them for many years. The one thing they are not are killers. They really do mostly just poach deer and other animals that belong to the king, and that's their main crime. And so it's a little out of character that they would do something like what has happened to Theomar, Black Ben, Peter, and Lady Talia. So yeah. Lord Garth did actually hang a few of them a few years ago, and they were slightly less troublesome afterwards, but like I say, they don't have much of a reputation for being killers and torturers for sure. And Aubrey leans forward and he asks Lord Garth, he's like, "What shall we do, my lord?"
That son of mine has some gumption, doesn't he, Otto?
Indeed,
Bandits
Lord.
dancing around the wood, looking for these miscreants. I wish the boy would have some common sense. He's a passionate one, but if he gets caught too, I shan't like to think what they would do to him.
Indeed.
Black Ben thinks for a moment and speaks up to the Lord of the house. Good Lord!
That's quite a whistle.
Brilliant timing on that.
He's like, "Hey, getting your attention."
That whistle just is like Black Ben walking down the hall, and then he like opens the door, and he's like, "Oh, hello, there's a meeting going on."
Black Ben, after looking out to the hallway and wondering what the hell that was, looks to the Lord and says, "I know the whores. I've dealt with them many a years as someone who maintains the Kingswood for you. The person that I and Theomar and Peter met it does not fit the description of the horse. This is a madman, and he attracts mad people, and their savagery doesn't match what the hordes represent and what they do. While I highly advise caution, I would think this is something worth investigating.
The hordes might be invaluable in this search. I mean, they know the wood just as well as you, if not better.
My lord, I've only been in your service for a couple weeks now. I don't really know what Ben is talking about, the whores, or anything to be in general around here. But I do have to say, from what I can tell from Ben's outlook on everything, these men were not simple men that stole food or stole deer. These men wanted blood. And Theomar kind of gulps, thinking about the smile, about the night that had crippled him and Peter and Ben. So, and looks down in shame a little bit.
Well, I came here to ask you all for information and to hear your side of it. What exactly transpired in those days? Where's my... And he kind of pauses for a second and looks down, and maybe there's like a mug there made out of like a cattle horn, and he just kind of... He goes to squeeze it, but he stops, and this is, I guess, the first time you actually get to see Lord Garth not in armor or anything like that. He's... If you could imagine a more kind of more lenient Lord Robert, like or King Robert, basically, like he's more not as fat, but around the same kind of build. He's like stocky. Imagine
Lord Robert and Robert's Rebellion.
Yeah,
only older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, think of Robert Rebellion Robert, but with he's about a head and a half taller than the average man, and he's got the same kind of like crew cut that he's had for years, and his facial hair is only just now growing out. He's a very kind of military man, but he's from what you've known of him in the few raids or taking care of banditry and stuff like that, he's very kind of like do-it-yourself kind of lord. He doesn't like to sit around in his castle all the time. He doesn't wear really expensive clothing, any of that. He doesn't really like being in his court at all. He likes being amongst his like lower peons and his inside his castle walls and looking at all the peasantry and being amongst them, you know. And he probably spends an unhealthy amount of time with Otto, just in general, even before this whole event. Just given on the nature, like they both seem kind of military minded, and obviously Otto has to be. But he'll stand up and like kind of look at you all.
First and foremost, Lord, I think I should say that the man that was their leader wanted information about Hilwood, about its strengths, its weaknesses, its defenses, and he tortured us until we revealed that information. And while it's shameful to admit, I think if we do go out searching for them, we need to make sure that the castle defenses are either changed or adequately prepared for anything they might face from these bandits.
I
agree with Ben. With Peter, Ben, and I, we all held out as long as we could, my lord. We gave some details, definitely, but we also... I think I've shamed myself. Even though I haven't been here for long enough. I have definitely shamed myself in this regard.
Lord Garth kind of holds up a hand and he says, like, as to like cut you off as you speak like that. So there's no need for that. What we're after now is revenge. what you have to grieve on is what you have to grieve on, but you did your best to get here. And matter of fact, you're standing before me, so you need not worry about it. All I need now is that you fight alongside me to return my wife and to get your justice that you so much that you seek, that we all seek.
We will find them, my lord.
Otto looks at Theomar's leg and Ben's hand. Says, I think you lads have demonstrated your loyalty to the house.
Rob, why don't you describe Otto, since you haven't done that yet? What he looks like, who he is, just so make sure everybody knows.
Okay, Otto is a pretty big, burly fellow, kind of barrel-chested, getting a little long in the tooth. He's an old fellow. Peter was 30, so Otto's 50-ish. Not quite as clean cut as the Lord. A little more bearded. What hair he has left, a little longer, a little shaggier.
And you're the Master at Arms, right? Correct?
That's correct. He's Hilwood's Master at Arms. He was a woodcutter's son, and his loyalty to the house rose up through the guard. Eventually became Lord Garth's confidant. Entered the role of Master at Arms and has been there for years since.
Okay. So Maester Aubrey asks, he's like, what will you do, my lord? Will we send out some of our men or all of our men? I agree with Black Ben that a march in full would be dangerous to our defenses.
Can I actually roll a... I imagine we're sitting around like the main hall living table, and I've probably converted it to like... So Lord Garth kind of like, takes some representative like cups, and he starts moving stuff around, and like... He takes like a piece of charcoal from the maester who had this letter, and he starts drawing some stuff, and you all kind of look probably confused. I wouldn't know. But he's kind of drawing lines. Otto's probably the only one who understands what he's doing, and he's like conversing with himself and looking at stuff. He's drawn out a kind of a faux kind of lodge set, and the representative. It's basically like the war table that he's created out of like just and I kind of want to just test strategy if I can.
Yeah, you absolutely can. Warfare strategy, go for it. So Lord Garth looks over the defenses of House Hilwood, and he knows that, unfortunately, his men are well trained, but there are not many of them. Right? You have a garrison. You have a group of scouts, which Black Ben is actually a member of, and you also have what's the other one? And then your own personal guard. Okay. So that's 220 men. That's your entire men-at-arms here. Your son also has his own personal guard. And then that's your all your fighting men that you have. The garrison is trained specifically to hold the lodge. However, the way it is structured in House Hilwood is these are typically the least trained men. That is typically how it goes. You learn how to defend the lodge, and then as you get more experience, you're rotated into other companies. Typically, Peter is the commander of your personal guard, and Otto is, beside yourself, of course, commander of the forces at large. You have other minor knights that help with the, as their underlings, essentially. So is there any other information you're looking for as far as your defenses and your strength at arms?
I'm thinking more along the lines of, like, maybe this is a point where, like, Garth kind of, Lord Garth kind of invites the other two of them in, and maybe has like a fresh cooked hen or something that they can like devour on, and Garth and Otto are probably, and the Maester are probably just kind of sitting around this conglomerate of cups and lines of charcoal and some candle wax and stuff like that, and like a burning candle, just to like represent things. And this is where we're just like having a chat about like what would be the best thing. And Lord Garth, after he's assembled all this stuff, he like looks at the Maester, and then he kind of like shakes his head and looks back to Otto. Otto, I need to ask you a favor.
I'm a lord.
You wouldn't be offended if I asked you to stay here and protect the lodge, would you?
Otto bristles a little. No, my lord. I can mind the lodge.
Well, fat chance, because you're coming with me.
Otto obviously is relieved at that.
he makes like a nod at Black Band, who's probably like gorging himself now.
The GM is pleased with this as well. Maester Aubrey's like, my lord, Sir Lou can hold the lodge. He's the commander of the garrison. He knows his men. He knows the lodge. I believe he is the right man for that task. But I do not believe any bandits could assault us no matter what they know. They're bandits, after all.
Ben pipes up. These aren't just bandits. The knight in charge of them, there's something different about him.
Theomar takes a look at the map that Otto made and starts to inspect it, maybe looking for a weakness as well.
You can roll warfare. So you look for potential weaknesses, and the main weakness of the lodge has a very strong position overlooking the woods, with not very many easy ways to scale the walls or attack it from any direction. The problem will be men. You have 220 available men at arms with 100 green garrison soldiers, so that would be the issue if they were attacked in force. Maester Aubrey asks Black Ben and Theomar, he's like, what were their numbers? Were there many of them? Enough to attack the lodge with 100 men or even more in defense?
I know during the chase before we reached the lodge, there seemed to be at least 2 to 3 score men on horseback chasing us. As for the rest of their numbers, when they originally ambushed us, it was so quick it was hard to tell their numbers.
Can I roll a memory on, like,
sure.
being attacked on the original attack?
Yeah, you both can roll memory.
It's coming, right?
Yes.
Trying to recall the first attack that they did. How many did they overtake us? Or
yeah, Ben can roll too.
Yep, give me 1 second.
So, both of you have a decent idea, and although it was very quick and you were overtaken before you could really get your bearings, you're definitely sure that you were outnumbered 3-1. And since there was about a dozen of you, there was over 30 of them that took you. But mostly you were taken by surprise, and that's why you were captured. You don't know 3-1's quite difficult odds, obviously, but there was barely any fighting whatsoever. You were taken so quickly.
Do I remember, if we remember as well, we were in there a couple days. We probably saw some people going by. Probably at night, we probably saw some fires as well. And we can maybe make a judgment call of that.
Yeah, you didn't. You were basically stationary against a tree, and the pavilion is where you heard people, and it sounded like to you that, 30, 40 people seems reasonable. But Good.
Ben thinks to himself and says, "My lord, wow, there are enough of them to scare the peasant folk and the small folk into not revealing details about their whereabouts. I don't believe there's enough of them to conduct a successful attack on this place, especially with heightened security. That is, if we leave the garrison and a few well-trained men behind."
Otto looks at Aubrey. Aubrey, remember when I was in the guard, we had a plan to defend against a siege? Make ready at the gatehouse with some barrels of oil.
Also, Maester Aubrey,
Aye, my lord.
I want you to send a call out to all our peasantry below the lodge. Send every able-bodied son and old man to the lodge. They may not need to fight, but we'll give them the gear to do so. Every pitchfork, everything. Make it look like we have more men than we do. I trust that you can pass it up to the ones that will be leaving in charge. And my son.
I kind of want to interrupt that, my lord. These bandits, I don't know if they're going to harm women or children, but having all the menfolk just leave the town as well, I wouldn't.
I didn't suggest the men, Theomar. I said every able-bodied boy and old man.
You're right, my lord.
Aubrey strokes his beard and thinks on it for a moment. He's like, "I would try, my lord. It will be... The villages in the Kingswood are far and few between. It will take some time, but I will send messengers immediately."
Very well. Do know that there will be a monetary reward off of this. And they will be taken care of. Give them the... I know it'll eat away at our siege larder, but make use of it if you have to, Maester Aubrey. I trust you.
Aye, my lord. He nods and he looks for your leave to get started right away.
Oh, and Mr. Aubrey, send a raven to the king and report the situation. Although he has gone into being a recluse, maybe this will drag him out of his tower.
To the king, you said?
We're in the King's Land, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd be sending one to the Mad King. Maester Aubrey nods and he's like, "My lord, I will, but I would not expect a reply."
It's not for him to reply. I know he's been a recluse for a few years now. Ever since that darn rebellion.
Yeah. I think I'm hearing you, Rivers, you're like cutting in and out a little bit. Does anybody else hear him cut in and out?
I'm not hearing anything.
I've been hearing it on occasion, but it's not.
Okay.
Oh, well, gee.
Everybody was starting to get
now you're
tired
good.
for me, but
Now you're
everybody
good.
sounds
You're
fine
fine.
now.
You're fine now.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, Aubrey nods and he's like, "I'll send a raven at once, my lord."
And do take care to send any ravens that you think would be deemed necessary.
He nods and he says, I can send ravens to the other houses of the Kingswood and other houses of the Crown lands. Perhaps that will stoke enough interest.
At the very least, do send them some sort of warning that there may be banditry alert in...
Aye, my lord. And he stands up, bows, and departs.
And, like, with a heavy sigh, Lord Garth kind of turns back to you all.
My lord, I was told of Ben's exploits in the scouts, and Theomar would look over to Ben. Didn't I hear you were a good sneak at one point in time before the hand?
I don't need two hands to be sneaky. Just ask your mama.
Well, let me reiterate the bow issue.
Ben smiles and thinks for a minute and goes, well, I was excellent with the bow. Unfortunately, was the key word. That does not mean I cannot use a crossbow. It will be slow. It will be difficult at first. Using my left hand to pull the trigger and aim, much like it is when I try and piss now. However, I know this Kingswood like the back of my hand, and I think there's a lot of places that we can look. I think also the whores will also know of places that I might not even know of. I think we should definitely investigate, maybe send me as an advanced scout the closer we get to the meeting point, and see what they have to say. Perhaps they're having issues with the same bandits. These people don't seem to care who they kill or attack. They might have a common enemy.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, other than a few other things. If the whores are willing to help us, they're going to want some sort of gain from this, and I wouldn't see otherwise. A pardon would be too much to ask, but maybe some sort of monetary gain. Black Ben, what do you think? You've dealt with them before.
They're poachers. They believe they have a right to the game within the Kingswood. That is not my place to decide if it's right or wrong, but a pardon may be a unofficial sanction of their hunting. I cannot suspect to their aims, but if we meet with them, we can at least know.
Otto, I'll leave this in your hands. I'll do what you say we should do, but I believe that we should speak. We should at least, at the very least, speak with them.
Absolutely, my lord. We've chased them for years. They must know somewhere to hide in these woods.
I raise my hand. Theomar raises his hand a little bit to say something. My lord, Ben, I think has the right deal here. He, the pardon would be nice, but you seem to have also a Shadowcat problem out there as well. So a little poaching might solve that as well.
He just kind of looks at you for a minute. And he's, were you giving milk of the poppy beforehand?
No.
Ben laughs and says, 2 pussies do not constitute a problem. That constitutes either very good fortune or bad fortune.
Well, I tend to
on the subject of the whores, my lord.
He's kind of reining it back in. Yes.
Something has, of course, driven these men to their outlawry. If they're able to help us, then maybe we should offer them a chance to return to the fold, a chance at legitimacy.
You mean to offer them a place in the lodge?
Indeed, my lord.
Well, I'll do whatever it has to be to get Talia back.
Is it poaching if it's on behest of a lord?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking
Okay.
rhetorically, Lord Garth, that if it is indeed for food, then if we do bring them aboard, not saying that I think we should, that might solve two problems at once, poaching and adding strength to our cause.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So this is what I'm propositioning. We are going to take my personal guard and only my personal guard, maybe some of Blackben's scouts. We'll ride out and meet with these whores. If the things go bad, then things go bad. If we learn something, we learn something. You're more than welcome, Theomar, Ben, to stay here, but Otto and myself will be going.
Otto chuckles to himself when he hears this last.
Go ahead.
Black Ben raises his injured hand out of the sling and says, I have a score to settle. You can count on me.
Theomar takes a big breath and nods. I'm in debt, at the very least, to all this, so I would like to watch and finish this through as well.
Well, that settles it. I'll go round up my personal guard. Otto, can you make sure the horses are ready?
Aye, my lord.
I will not waste any time on finding these men.
Okay. So you prepare your personal guard to leave. Are you going to take any of the scouts?
I mean, that just kind of makes sense. I'll leave a majority of them here, but since we have Black Ben, who is kind of like, if not like a lieutenant or some sort of high rank in it, I assume.
Yep, he could be the commander. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I would say that Black Ben, if not the commander, is like a backup to being a commander of the scouts or something like that. Or maybe not even that. Like, maybe they work on a different kind of hierarchy system than normal. Like,
could very well. They're probably, common people from the Kingswood that know the Kingswood the best, and probably none of them are noble or, that sort of thing. Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think Black Ben will just probably take, how many men is this going to be on the travel? Because I know it's got the four of us.
So there will be 100 men in the scouts normally. You can take any percentage you want of them, and the way it would work if there was some sort of some sort of conflict. We would take the percentage and divide that versus their damage total. So if they had endurance 3 and they had 9, then we would do 5 or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't. I guess this is where I kind of like open it up to everybody. Like, Lord Garth thinks it's pertinent not to bring as many men so we don't leave a big footprint. But
patrols. I was gonna actually suggest that, but yeah, Theomar would definitely suggest the patrols. Like have them go out with us, and then every like couple leagues get 5 or 4 men off, patrol that area, come back with news or anything. And if groups didn't come back, we would have the castle would have knowledge that some people didn't come back, there was an ambush or something else like that.
What about you there, Otto? What do you think? I personally believe that we should take like a 1/4 of the scouts just to kind of like pad our numbers.
That makes sense. And so how many men are in the personal guard?
20.
20.
But like the way it works is like in warfare, if that was something that would happen, they do the same amount of damage and have the same amount of hit points as somebody equal to 100 men. So basically, one man is worth 5 men in a personal guard.
Isn't that knights and it's 100 personal guard?
I don't know. I thought it was personal guard was 20, and cavalry was 20. It doesn't matter, really.
It doesn't, yeah.
Statistically, a personal guard is a personal guard in cavalry, or definitely cavalry. Cavalry is definitely 20, and 20. They're just as good as a normal unit, even though there's less men. They're just better trained, better equipped, etc., etc.
Yeah, I don't think we should take any more than like a fourth of the scouts and just kind of have them be ahead of us, behind us, and to our sides, and just kind of
have them be scouts.
Yeah, and they aren't really combat troops. They're just there to be like runners and stuff like that. And the guard, because I don't want to. I think Garth is not trying to put as big of like a dust trail and a footprint out in the wood.
Right. No, makes sense to me. Sounds like the personal guard should probably be enough pure muscle, and then we get the scouts on the flanks behind us and in front of us just to make sure we don't blunder into anything.
About my arms, sir. Wait a minute. To be completely honest, real quick, out of character wise, do we have our equipment that we
you can get your equipment that you need. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
There's no reason to roleplay that.
I have like 12 gold dragons of miscellaneous stuff that I've bought. I just put it as housely goods. So I'll just mark it off of whatever you needed.
Yeah, like your original like builds, whatever, you got anything that you had before.
Okay. I was just double checking whether or not we would have to roleplay for that or anything.
No. That's not interesting. Okay. So you're going to take 25% of your scouts, and you're going to take the personal guard.
Yep, and then we'll leave. I'll probably give like a strict order for my son to return, and
you have total of 4 sons. So, but 2 of them are very youngish, 10 and below. Because 2 of your sons are from Lady Italia, right? And 2 are from a previous wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just the younger of the older sons is probably just going to stay there to watch.
Yeah,
that would be like his kind of order, just to kind of have a Hilwood in actual lodge.
Yeah, that's fine. Damon can be your heir or your second son, doesn't matter. He's probably in his early 20s or late teens.
I'd like to say he's my heir or something.
Okay, he's your heir. All right. Okay. So you prepare to depart. It takes several hours to get ready, but without too much delay, you guys are on your way out to the Windwater. The Windwater is not particularly close to House Hilwood. It is probably the furthest away in your domain that would be, I guess, southeast. And so you head that in that direction. You'll get there by nightfall, essentially. So let me
Jack the Yanks.
All right. 1 second. All right. Okay. So, based on the Windwater, the way you're coming at it, there's not very many ways to approach it. And so it's fairly easy to, there's only one natural meeting point if they're going to meet you there. What your scouts that you have sent forward report to you is that a group of men are out in the open, waiting on the banks of the Windwater. And so it's very clear that they are not attempting to ambush you, at the very least. Rob, are you still here? I just saw you disappear.
Yeah, just a roll 20 glitch.
Okay. And so you can see the who you assume are the whores from quite a distance. The scouts return and tell you that there are men on the banks, like I said, and they're not heavily armored. They look like they could be, woodsmen and that sort of vein of people, bandits, whatever. And they're just sitting around a makeshift camp. And you are probably, let's say, a quarter of a mile away at this point.
Black Ben will probably take a look around, looking for any signs of a trap. Not that he's necessarily expecting one, but
go ahead and roll. In this case, survival, tracking, or anything you think is applicable.
Awareness notice.
You can do that if that's better for you. So you look around the area and you don't see anything that seems out of the ordinary. You don't see any men in the woods or anything like that. So you don't notice anything.
Since Peter is gone, Otto sort of thinks of himself as the de facto head of the personal guard, so he's at Lord Garth's side.
Theomar would be... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, Lord, do you wish one of us to go up and see what their intentions are before you come forward?
Lord Garth is, sitting atop a horse, and, you say this probably, I assume, do you have riding? Do you have your own horse?
Yeah, you would all. You all have horses for the journey.
Yeah, he looks down at you because maybe is he taller than you? How tall?
Oh, I'm sure.
You got massive. You're taller than everybody.
Yeah, he looks at you from atop his horse, and there's a moment where he's got a confused kind of what did you just say to me? Look on his face, Excuse me, Ben, if I may. Have you? If I'm going to speak to them, I'm going to speak to them. Not to offend you, but...
None at all, my lord. Just looking out for your well-being as well as all of us.
Well, I appreciate it, Ben, but I am no coward.
All right, so you kick your...
Yeah, and I'll ride out there with maybe, Theomar. Let's put it that way. I'll ride out there with Theomar and, maybe a personal scout and a Black Ben if he wants, but I'll leave Otto with all the personal guard atop a hill or something.
Black Ben will go with him. Even with his dealings with the whores, he might recognize one or two, if not by sight, maybe by name if they identify who they are.
I look over to Ben and I don't know any of them by sight. Do they have names? Do you have any idea how they look like? Who am I looking for as well? Because I don't want to go in there blind either.
So Black Ben knows exactly who Jack the Axe is, and you can describe who he is and what your interactions have been with him. That's the main whore that you know.
Just want me to whip up anything.
Yep.
Well, their leader is Jack the Axe. I can't see his icon, by the way.
Oh, you can't?
It's below Hermit and my icon. I have my avatar is too big.
Oh, seriously?
Scroll out.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's odd. Everybody looks like they're...
Yeah, I scrolled out and then he became tiny. Anyway, Jack the Axe is the leader of the whores. wild men with wild hair, black, known for the use of an axe. And while he is a thorn in the side of House Hilwood, he is not a murderer. He's definitely one not to be taken lightly, but I think he is here in earnest. Otherwise, he would just avoid contact like they always try to do. As for the whores themselves, while they are criminals and they are poachers, they're not bandits. They are people looking to survive. That doesn't make what they do right. That doesn't stop me from hunting them and issuing Lord Garth's justice or delivering them to Lord Garth. But I would give them a fair shake here at this river, at this meeting.
Okay.
Can you see that icon any better?
I can now, yeah. I did a little zooming and adjusting. I mean, that's a lot better for me.
I made him a giant.
He's just like grown in the background. That whole thing.
I gave him massive twice. I give him the massive.
As our horses get closer to him, he seems to grow in size.
Yeah, right.
He ate a mushroom. He ate a mushroom.
Oh, God.
Okay, so as you get closer, the men on the bank all react, standing up and stepping actually aside, but looking very nervous. These are people that you've been trying to hang for 20 years, you know? And so they look super, they don't look like they're in any danger of attacking you, and they don't look like they would be able to, even though, well, you're severely outnumbered at this point. But most of these men have bows, or maybe small swords, but nothing that would, you know, really scare Lord Garth. He's seen much worse, and as you approach the small, it looks like somebody has dug a pit, and there was a fire in there, and lo and behold, Black Ben recognizes who it is. He's got a huge head of hair, wearing hide armor, and there's a battle axe, or really what it is a humongous wood cutting axe that's planted in a stump next to him. And he stands up and looks like very almost respectful at Lord Garth as he rides in, and he sees Black Ben and he starts laughing. And he's like, "You finally found me, didn't you? And you guys have had combat before, right? Black Ben has like shot an arrow into him, and Jack the Axe has carved out some of your flesh with his axe. And so, but nothing. You guys have not ended up killing each other somehow over the years." And he's like, "Here I am. Are you going to shoot me?" And then he kind of notices your hand, and he looks like kind of upset, and he's like, "What happened?" And he kind of ignores everybody else but Black Ben at that point.
Black Ben looks at Jack and goes, "Jesus, have you smelled bad all these years? You'd think I would have been able to find you by now." And he raises his right hand and says, "Shoot you with a bow? I can barely wipe my ass right now."
And he's like, let me shake your hand. And he reaches out to your fucked up hand. And he's like, "You don't want to shake?"
No, a sufficient salute or wave will suffice.
And he's like, "The only salute I'll give you is with my cock."
Ben laughs and
I
goes,
think Garth kind of has a hearty laugh atop his horse at this banter that's going on.
"Well, if you're not careful, you might to lose that cock with what's going on in these woods right now."
Oh my God.
And he's smiling, and then his smile kind of droops, and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're right, and that's why I'm here." He's like, "Sir Damon, the heir, he found us. Well, we found him. And Lord Garth, I think I need some very good... I think I need something that I didn't kill him, because we could have. But that's not our style. But you're right, there's a problem in these woods, and it's not us, and it's not you for once." It's these bastards that came. I don't even know where they came from, but they're insane. There's a village not too long back and not too far away. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's the village closest to the Windwater called Windwater. And, well, they came through, raped the women, killed the men. Where was our Lord to help us? Huh? Not here. All you do is protect deer, not the people.
Garth, like, is sitting atop his horse, like, visibly kind of gets angry at that. Let me see some.
So this is gonna start an intrigue with Jack. So that was the beginning of the role play of it. But so here's what happened. So this is an intrigue where we go back and forth. And so it's different from the last session where it was just one way. So he wants something from you and you want something from him. Obviously, you want to know the location of, or what he knows about the bandits, or the Kingswood Brotherhood. It's a typical intrigue, as normal, except there's no DR. And when Jack goes, he actually hits you all at the same time. Okay, and you each get to go against him individually, but he's the only one in that group, and he hits you at the same time. And so he's going to say he uses whatever persuasion or deception, hit you all at the same time. So if he knocks one of you out, you can't hit him anymore, if that makes sense. So obviously Garth is going to win status. There's just absolutely no way anybody else is going to win status. So you guys go first. And we'll go ahead and role play and roll as needed. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me as well.
Garth kind of bites his tongue a little bit, and before he goes to speak, one of you can interject if you wish.
Holding my tongue.
Feel free to go in order as it was a combat or whatever. So Garth goes first, then probably Otto, and then Black Ben, and then Theomar, since he's kind of the outsider. We'll just do that.
Well, we left Otto with the guard.
Oh yeah, Otto's not there. You're right. So
right.
Sorry about that, but it just kind
that's
of...
okay.
No, that makes perfect sense. Otto's ready to lead a cavalry charge if anybody looks like they're going to lift a hand.
No, it's fine.
Lord Garth kind of bites his tongue and pulls himself back from, yelling at this man. Jack, I came here today because we both want something. You can belittle me all you want, but I did not know this was transpiring in the outskirts of my land. Hell, up until recently, these two weren't even here. What is it you want? I need your help, and you know I need your help. And I assume that you might need mine.
So before we get started, because you can just accept his deal, and we don't have to do the intrigue. But he says, I'll tell you what I want. I want better protection for all the people in the Kingswood, but really, we starve if we can't hunt. There's so many deer and other wildlife here, it is so easy to feed ourselves, but it's not easy if your men are trying to kill us every time we do it. I understand that some crazy Targaryen dragon, incest-loving king in King's Landing doesn't want us to kill deer. When's the last time he's been in the Kingswood anyway? I don't even know. He's like, I don't even care. He's like, what is 1 missing deer? What is 10 missing deer? What is 100 missing deer? We only kill what we need to survive. For food, and for shelter, and for clothing. He tugs his shirt, and it's clearly made of some sort of, probably deer skin or some other sort of hide. And he is like, this is what keeps me warm at night. He's like, all that we want is to be able to do this. Just to feed ourselves. We don't want any trouble with you. You are the one who chased us. You killed my brother, hung him from a rope, dead. For what? Because he shot a deer and cooked the venison? He, shakes his head.
I was hoping you could hold that aside. I know I must have killed your family, your friends, your people. And I'm truly sorry for that, but there are some things that I have to keep sacred, like a man's duty, a man's word. But I will never step below protecting my people. And you have my word, from this day forward, that I will protect these people more than I protect the Lodge, if at all possible. If I could spread all my men 10 meters apart all the way across my lands, I would, but I don't have that many. And yes, I think I've come to the conclusion that you might be in the area of, and he kind of looks pained a little bit. He says, God, I'm looking for the word. Why don't I have the word? I just had a brain fart. I will repeal your crimes and give you a place amongst the members of that's definitely it. Yeah, I will pardon your crimes and give you the ability to roam these lands as foragers. What you say is true. The king hasn't left the Red Keep in quite some time.
Jack looks at you sidelong and he says, one thing I've heard about you is you're not a liar. He's like,
Would never do.
Are you lying to me now? So go ahead and roll some sort of persuasion or deception, whichever is applicable.
It'll be persuasion.
Okay. The way you're role playing, it seems like a convince, but if you can convince me otherwise, then that's fine. I don't know what your stats are, but
I mean, he's just being forthcoming.
Yep.
He's gonna just do his best to say, this is what's gonna happen. I will give you the ability to hunt these lands as long as you help me defend these people and be a part of my house. I will sanction it and I will give you a pardon.
Yep.
And you can live as you wish.
Just out of combat curiosity, does Lord Hilwood have that power to pardon since the king is his direct superior?
It's probably pretty sketchy, honestly. Like Lord Garth is to enforce the king's laws, and the king law is not to poach.
All right, when it's Black Ben's turn, he'll pipe up.
So I'm not doing we're not in a full intrigue yet. So I mean, I'm gonna let Garth roll this one, and then we'll see kind of where it goes. But yeah, Jack just rolls his eyes, and he's like, there's nothing that doesn't say you can just ride me down right now. I mean, I give you the information, you kill me and my men, or try to, and then what? My arrows probably won't pierce your heavy armor, for that matter, and Black Ben's been trying to kill me for years.
I know, it seems dire and destitute, but I'm telling you, I give my word. If I wanted to hurt you, I would have already done it.
Yeah, but he just throws his hand up and starts laughing. He's like, not without the information. You could have attacked me and killed me, but that wouldn't tell you where these bastards are. So if somebody else wants to retort...
Black Ben pipes up and goes, Jack, I've been trying to kill you. You've been trying to kill me for quite some time now. And the reality is this the king's law? Do I agree with it? It doesn't matter, because we've all heard stories, and whether they're true or not, I like my neck. I want to keep it, and if the king finds out we're not enforcing his law in the Kingswood, then we're dead men. With that said, you know what he likes to hunt, or what the lords like to hunt: boar, bucks, shadow cats. I'm sure the Lord would be gracious enough, Lord Garth would be gracious enough to grant you some sort of reprieve, though it will never be official, on hunting certain animals in certain areas. But right now we have to deal with the immediate, and that's these bandits. They're a threat to you, they're a threat to the small folk, and they're a threat to Lord Garth, and they're a threat to me. And he holds up his hands to exaggerate the point. And they're a threat to Theomar. They almost took his leg, and they killed our friend Peter just a few days past. We need each other. You have information, we have resources and men-at-arms, and let's focus on that before we start focusing on something as grand as a pardon.
So, roll persuasion.
Alrighty. Even worse.
So, give me 1 second, So he looks at you and he's like I'm supposed to believe you. He's like, maybe we don't need to hunt. Do you want to bring us grain? What do you want to do? All I want to do is survive. I don't need to hunt. I just need food.
Ben looks to Lord Garth and does say loud enough for Jack to hear, "They are excellent scouts, my lord. They do know the Kingswood almost as good as I. There could be a deal struck that doesn't involve a pardon, but eliminates them from committing the crime of poaching in the Kingswood."
How'd your men get the name whores? He kind of looks at him for a second.
He was he shrugs and he's like, "I think that bastard right there gave it to us," and points at Black Ben.
Well, it was more of a joke that's the only way they can get any sort of cunny is by a whore, because who would ever get near someone like that? And he points with his stumpy hand to Jack, except for that fat one over there, and points to one of his friends.
And Jack just laughs.
Jeez, you two argue worse than me and Lady Talia.
They're whores because their sons are whores because they're so difficult to catch. I will grant them that.
So is that your deal then, Jack? Is that what you want? A roof over your head? People to protect? The game here and there?
Jack says, "I just want to be able to survive." He's like, "These are woods, not fields. None of us are farmers. We're hunters. We just know how to hunt. You might make us fat and lazy like Black Ben if you start giving me porridge from your table, but I think there's plenty of people who would actually take it." And there's a lot of people standing around looking very interested and definitely very invested in the way this conversation is going.
I think go ahead, Theomar, I'm sorry.
My lord, I didn't see a massacre hunt at the lodge at all as well. He could definitely give something of the freedom that these men did have here out in the wood with a title that might persuade the king that they were in your hire from the get-go and that they were just hunting in your name.
That might work. Lord Garth kind of gets off his horse and he'll leave his shield there, and he leaves his axe there, but he gets off his horse and approaches Jack.
And Jack watches you as you come by, and he looks up and he's like, "By the gods, you're a big fucker."
And he kind of looks at him for a minute, and he goes, "I apologize for my stature. but I need your help. And if I named you the master of the hunt for all things and all things for when the lords come from afar to come hunt in the Kingswood along with the king, that you'll be there to guide them. If I give you the ability to hunt game as you please, but to steer clear of the named animals such as bugs, shadow cats, anything like boars or stuff like that, but you could kill all the doe that you want. I could give a roof to your people. They could become part of my family, my extended family, and be a part of the Hillwoods. How would that sound? No more a bandit, no more a poacher, more of alongside of what Black Ben might do. Protect these woods, these people. That's not what we're here for, is it not? Excuse me, that's what we're here for, is it not?
Jack rubs his beard and looks over at Black Ben and then back at Garth and kind of is mulling it over. And he's like,
if I'm lying, you can cut my throat when I sleep.
Jack just rolls his eyes and he's like, yeah, like I'm ever going to get access to cut your throat. He's like, the one thing I am worried about is Black Ben fucking me in the ass. Not even literally I'm talking about. He's like, I know he's done that in the past in the villages, and he just starts dying laughing.
I'm not one to judge a man on his promiscuities, but that's between you and Black Ben. And he just kind of like crosses his arms and like looks over at you over his shoulder.
Ben laughs. He'd like that too much.
So Jack, he's like, fine. I'll help you get these bastards. And he's like, and I'll take your food. But, the thing I'm really the most worried about is these people out here. You need more men, and that's where we're going to come into play. So if I come to work for you, then I need you to support me in protecting these people in these damn woods. He's like, they're very little people and so much damn space. And you guys are busy sitting up on your asses in your castle.
Makes a lot of sense. Very well. Gather your men up and I'll send for mine and we can talk more terms later, but I assume you wouldn't want to go to Hilwood. You would want to speak out here.
He nods and he's like, we can, the devil's in the details later. We've got some men to kill. And he reaches his hand out up to Garth and he's like, I'm taking a big risk here. I could die. If I die in this, then you need to take care of these people.
Well, likewise, my new friend, likewise.
Ben rolls his eyes and says, no one in particular. Oh, great. There goes all the pig testicles back at Hilwood.
And he outreaches, like, Garth's hand is probably, like, if not a size and a half bigger than his, and he kind of shakes his hand. You have my word.
He's like, good. He's like, good. And he looks over at Black Ben and, like, sticks his tongue out at him. And he's like, I'm gonna be your boss soon.
What, when I got you bent over the tree stumps, or when are you going to be my boss? Please inform me.
He's like, the only stump I see is your hand.
Oh god! Like I think Lord Garth kind of like does like a hand wave, like he raises his hand just to like bring in Otto and the people.
Okay.
The guard.
Okay, go ahead, Otto.
Otto will come riding forth.
Okay. Alright, so Jack's like, okay, fine. Enough of this pussyfooting around. He's like, what your son was wanting to know and what you want to know is where is your wife, huh? He's like,
yes.
He's like, I don't know where your wife is, but I know where these bastards are camped. Saw them 2 days ago, not 2 miles from here. I can take you in a way that Black Ben would not know because he's a terrible, terrible scout, and show you exactly how to come up on them unaware. And then he looks and he's like, you don't have very many men with you. He's like, I think they have at least 300 men.
I think Garth just kind of like, his eye, like maybe he doesn't show it fully, but like his eyes kind of wide at that, and he's like, whoa.
Can I use awareness on how many men Jack's going to be bringing into the fold?
I mean, you can just see, it looks about like 100. One full unit or so. He's like, I don't know. They were in camp, there was quite a few of them. I thought you would bring, like, 1,000 men. Isn't that what lords have?
1,000 men. Otto, do you hear that?
Otto shakes his head. Would that it were so.
He's like, I always told my people you had 1,000 men and we were always avoiding you. I think you have 1,000 men somewhere.
Ben, maybe?
Probably in my seed, maybe.
You would like 1,000 men, wouldn't you, Jack? But we just don't have that.
I thought we were going to be at least 500, Ben. By what
Otto,
he's been
how
telling
quickly?
me.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Fine. Oh, I was making a quip. Ben, I thought how much he's been talking about you. You're 500.
It seems like it when we were chasing them, but alas, we don't have that number. But if this encampment is as big as it says, I'll take any help we can get, even from someone as butt ugly as Jack.
Otto, how quickly could you get someone back to the to summon the rest of the scouts?
It would take a day's ride there and back at a good clip. Actually, probably even longer than that, because he would have to get there, mobilize them, get back. Scouts are fast, so maybe almost 2 days.
Because that'll even up the score a little bit, and if we drag my son and his personal guard along with him.
Yeah, you're just not sure where they are exactly. Because Damon was off trying to find Thalia still. So you're not exactly sure where he is.
Okay. Well, I think if we could... Lord Garth looks over at Jack and kind of like furrows his brow a little bit. How often do they change their camps? What are they doing there?
He's like, I saw them yesterday. They move around pretty reasonably. I think they're there because of the village that was not too far from here, and they're using the natural resources and the stores of food there to replenish. I can't say what they're going to do, but the other time we had seen them, they moved quicker because they didn't really have any place to sit. There was nothing there. They hunt like us, but like Black Ben, they get fat when they're near a village. And so they're sitting there eating the stores. He's
This
like...
village,
He waves to Black Ben. He's like, he was even so bored he lost his hands up his ass.
Ben shakes his head, deciding whether or not to shoot him. Jack, how big were this village? Did they have their larders full? Will they be able to live off the village's supplies for a few days to give us time to rally anyone? Or do I need to lead, like a real leader, unlike you, your men, and harry them at night to disorganize them and keep them on the move while we bring the rest of the guard and soldiers in?
Jack says, actually, they were actually goods well supplied because of me. You think I just kill these deer just for us?
I figured you killed them to fuck their dead corpses.
Lord Garth just kind of like tucks his head like downwards and just kind of chuckles a little bit.
Jack like grabs the hilt of the haft of his axe and like brings it up on his shoulder, and he's like, maybe we should just settle this right now, Gimp.
Sounds good. Let's start at 200 paces.
He's like, you're not 200 paces from me right now.
Yes, but I have a mountain in between myself and you.
He looks up at Lord Garth and he looks back at you and he's like, man, you're a pussy. He's like, let's not argue right now. He's like, yes, they have enough food to last them for a while. I don't know how easy it would be to move. The jerky, it's been all probably made into jerky right now. So I can't say. They could easily transport it if they wanted to.
Are you sure about their numbers, Jack? Around 300?
He nods and he's like, yes, because we thought about attacking them, but we realized we were at a severe disadvantage.
Well.
And he does go on to tell, he's like, they aren't heavily armored though, unlike you, Lord. He's like, they look like more kind of like us.
Very well. Then, Otto, I'll again ask you for your... Should we wait on the rest of the scouts to return? Maybe give them some more leeway, hide in the woods, wait, have more men? Or should we just press our luck now?
It sounds like maybe we should wait for reinforcements.
You could also pull the garrison if you really wanted to.
No, I don't. Maybe like... No, I don't think we're going to pull the garrison. Because the garrison is the garrison for a reason, yeah? Oh, no.
Yep, you're right. The garrison, they take a penalty if they're not fighting at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then no, I'm not going to take them. They're going to fight at home, and they're going to fight at home.
Yep.
Ben holds up a hand and says to Jack, very well, I call a truce. We could use Lord Damon and his personal guard. Do you know which way they were headed last? If we're able to find them and rally them with Lord Garth's personal retinue and your scouts and woodsmen, I think we might be able to crush them.
Jack shrugs. He's like, fuck, I don't know where they went. He's like, I know they went, let's see, let me think here. They went east, southeast, but I don't know. They didn't tell me anything. Besides, they would contact you.
What is east of where we are? Is there like a place that they would go, like say a village or a larger settlement or lodge or hall?
How about you roll knowledge? Or actually, survival or knowledge, I'll let you do.
I will do survival.
I was going to ask if status would have been applicable, because breeding is a thing, so you could know where the locations of houses are.
I don't think it matters at this point. So there is something on the other side of the Windwater. It is, so there's a hall, and there is another noble house over there, because the Kingswood is essentially sectioned off into fours, and you guys have 1/4 of it. And on the other side of the Windwater is another house, and he pointed that way. He doesn't know if they went that way, or he knows they went off in that direction. But I mean, Garth, how about you roll like awareness, empathy, to know what your son might do.
While he's rolling, my lord, if they are heading east and he has 100 men with him, or 20, whichever it is, I believe I will be able to track them and find them for you and bring their strength to ours.
That's minus whatever it is. needed to be for not having empathy.
Oh, no, it'd be fine. That'd be the same. So you think that he wouldn't trust Jack, and he probably would go in the opposite direction. You think that he probably would double back. So you don't think he would go into some other domain. You think he would go that way and double back because he didn't. So you have actually no idea where he would be. Now you could do things like he has a sizable force, right? No matter if it's 20 or 100. So maybe you could find them by tracking or some other methods, but Jack doesn't know where they really went. It doesn't look like.
All right, how about this? Ben, take some men that you trust and you know out of the Scouts detachment, and I know you're not used to taking orders from me, Jack, but grab some of the men you trust and you can look around and go have a hunt for my son. I'll write up something and give you something to our house sigil to get him back here. We need Damien. We need him now. And have the rest of your men, Black Ben and Jack, start drawing up a camp somewhere deep in the woods on the other side of the river here.
So you're sending Jack to find him?
Jack and Black Ben.
Okay. So they'll both
with like a sigil or something.
Yep, you can send, or you could send. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever it takes, a letter or whatever. So we'll both roll survival.
Me or?
Yeah, you and I.
Alrighty.
Roll GM.
Yeah, so you both find the tracks very easily, and Jack looks at you and he's like, right there. And he's like, this is why I've stayed away from you so long, because you're so bad at this.
I saw that a minute ago, but keep talking.
He's like, I bet you did. And so you keep going, and you keep going like a couple hours out, and you come to a small encampment, no fire, no anything. And Jack looks, you're like on a small ridge overlooking them, and he's like, should we go attack them?
Attack them?
He just starts laughing, and he's like, I'm joking, you moron.
Must have had severe blood loss.
And he's like, hey, buttfucker! And yells down, and they all just like look up suddenly, and they all have their swords out immediately.
Black Ben admittedly laughs that they all looked at the buttfucker calling and stands up and hollers, "It's I, Black Ben of the Hilwood Scouts."
And you see Damon like walk forward, and he is Lord Garth and his previous wife's child, and she was a very petite lady, and he doesn't look anything like his father. He almost looks like he's fairly skinny. He's in very good shape, and you know him to be a good warrior and a reasonable person. And he looks up, and he just like throws his hands up, and he's like, "What was that?" And he sees Jack, and he's just like rolls his eyes, and he's like, "What's going on? Hurry!"
Black Ben puts his hands up defensively. He goes, "I know you're not going to believe this at first, but your father's made an accord with Jack, a truce and an agreement of exchange of goods. We provide them in food in exchange with finding these bandits and killing them, and we have both been looking for you to join your force with your fathers."
Damon nods and seems to agree that might be a good plan, and he's like, "Okay, we're coming." And he rallies his men, and they follow you back to camp. And within a total of less than 8 hours, you are joined by Lord Garth's son, Sir Damon. He walks up and sees his father, and he's much smaller, right? And he just reaches up and hugs him, and he's like, "You've done it. Did you find out where they are?
Yes, Damon, I have. I found out where they are, and I found out where my wife is. And he kind of chucks it back a little bit. So now's not the time, Damon.
He nods and he's like, then lead us, my lord, and we will add our strength to yours.
He kind of like convenes everybody to pull back in, and he says, now might be the time. I'm sure we could do something. We could strike out at them. Maybe just enough to grab Lady Talia if she's there, and then pull back to the... What do you think, Otto? And pull back to the keep? If we could catch them with their pants down, even if we're outnumbered, we could do it. We could do it before they even get any wiser to our positions.
Well, let's move the force forward. Send some of the scouts to get eyes on them and try and catch them by surprise.
Very well. So I assume we're not waiting for the rest of the scouts, and we're just going to go with the quarter that we have and the 2 personal guards and all the PCs and Jack.
Looks like it. Unless that's up to you. I mean,
yeah, I think Garth doesn't want to sit around because maybe the violence of action is probably what he's going to be used to. I mean, he's fought in 2 rebellions now, and even some smaller skirmishes before that, and he's raring to go. He's ready to do this. He'd rather do this now than have them get wise to what they're doing, you know what I mean? And he'll kind of convey that with everybody and make sure that with all his retainers, even his personal guard, like that, if they're okay with this, even Jack.
Jack wants to attack. He thinks that they might move. He has no confidence that they'll stay there because, like he said, most of their food reserves at the town were jerky, and so it's pretty easily moved.
Aye, they're like locusts, my lord. Once the food's gone, they'll move.
Well, let's fall upon him. And then, he'll get ready to, under the cover of night, or the evening, he'll start moving towards them.
Okay. Give me like 2 minutes for 2 or 5 minutes of bio break, and then be right back.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Lord Garth will pull all 4 of you, or 3 of you aside, and Damon is there as well. If I shall fall, Otto, I need you to make it back to the lodge. At all costs, you must make it back to the lodge. Do you hear me, Otto?
Otto looks a little perplexed. I hear you, my lord.
The lodge can't fall, and I'm sure you're all in agreement with that.
It will not fall.
Theomar, I'll make sure that you're handsomely rewarded, and he kind of says some more pleasantries and stuff like that.
My lord, reward is enough to fight by your side and definitely protect these people and Jack's people as well. And I had to commend you for your leniency and your judgment earlier.
What I do for the good of the people at all times. It's always been my motto. Nothing more, nothing less. Even if it is consorting with the likes of ill reputes.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, Jim.
Everybody here still?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, what's your plan? You're going to go there under cover of darkness, correct? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, but not so much that it like hinder. Like maybe we're
Mhm.
moving and as it's getting darker, not to hinder us. And the scouts know where they are, right? Like,
Okay.
well, Jack's people, the horrors know where they are. So
Right.
we'll kind of use that to our advantage and just advance slowly and quietly.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a bonus. So you guys are led by the horrors and Jack, and he comes around a small clearing, and you're heavily wooded where you are, but he points through a good sight through the trees, and you see probably what it looks like. It's hard to tell from this vantage, but it looks like he's probably right. There's probably 300 men in camp. And you can tell that they aren't expecting you. They don't see you. It doesn't look like. You don't necessarily see anything familiar. Black Ben or Theomar do. You just see a bunch of men. But they're armed. His description of them was correct. They don't look like they're a professional military force at all. So what do you do?
My eyes are for the smiling knight. I'm trying to find him.
You don't see him in there. It's hard to see, but I mean,
I would like to roll notice, I guess. Or
sure, go ahead.
Like if,
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's obvious signs this town has been sacked then.
Yeah, so yeah, it's in the middle of a town, or on the periphery of a town, actually, is where they're camped. But yeah, you see like smoking buildings and stuff, and Jack comes back and he's like, they're already looking to move out, because they're actually camped outside the town. A lot of them are. And so he's like, they're not going to be here very much longer. And Theomar, as he's specifically looking for the guy who tortured you, you do not see him. There are 300 dudes, so, and there's some buildings if he's in the village that he could be in, but you don't see him. So,
Well, Otto, Theomar, Black Ben, he like looks down at Jack. Jack, I say we strike while the iron's hot.
Otto rubs his whiskers and nods.
ignore this dude's name, by the way. This is Damon.
Out of character, how many of Jack's people are missile armed or archer types?
It's a group of, let's see, who are they?
I guess we should get all of our statistics and stuff like that or at least me and Otto need them for our stuff. So,
are we going cavalry charge or are we sneaking in?
I think at this point it's like a combat roll, I don't know. I'll have to go read.
If it's a warfare, it's you go to issue an order with your warfare/command. If the issuing of the order is successful, then you conduct the attack, be it melee attack, ranged, charge, whatever action you want that unit to do.
Yeah, just give me a couple seconds here.
Yep. Now, Otto, what do you have for abilities per warfare? I assume your warfare is higher than mine?
Well, I don't know what yours is either, but...
well, I have a 1B in warfare, and I have inspiring.
Otto's warfare 4, command 2, tactics 2.
Yeah, I have a 1B in all of the things for warfare, and then I have 4 in warfare. And then I have inspired.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 personal guard units. So basically, we attach ourselves to those units. Personal guard
if you
is
want.
Unique. If you want. Keep in mind, if the unit is destroyed, you die. Obviously, you'd have to spend a destiny point. That's my recollection of the rules. There's obviously bonuses to attaching people to a unit, higher rolls, things like that. trying to think anything really of note.
Yeah. So the way warfare works. Okay. So let me tell you. I actually kind of screwed something up, but the Horrors are scouts. They're a scout unit. You will have these 4 people to work with. Okay, so that's two basically NPCs, Damon or Lou, but it's Damon and Jack. You guys will be taking control of them because I am not taking control of any dudes on your side. You tell me what player wants to take each of those. But the way warfare works essentially is you have a character phase where you decide what your characters do. Do they attach? Do they do commands? Do they attack units? Or whatever, right? And so I hope you have your books next to you because this is going to be the more tactical part of this game. Then you have the warfare section where it's like your actual units. Okay, and those have certain maneuvers they can do. They can attack, they can move, etc. I mean, you can be as simple as you want, or you can be as complicated as you want. It doesn't matter. And then once that's done, you have a character phase again, and a lot of that is usually you either attack, like your characters. When your characters attack a unit, that's what I mean, right? So characters attack a unit, you go into a personal combat phase. So it's like all your characters that are close to that unit do a attack versus 10 individual dudes, right? So you have individual combat, warfare, individual combat, and it just kind of keeps going in that, over and over again. But what is your strategy overall?
If I may make a suggestion for warfare, basically we get, unless you have one of the benefits that gives you extra orders, you get a number of orders equal to your warfare roll. So
and Garth does actually.
Oh, he does. Okay,
he does have an extra. He has inspiring, right?
Yeah, I get an extra command, or I can reroll and take the better result.
But so he has. To give an example, yeah, you have 5 commands, and we have 3 units, basically 2 personal guard and an archer unit or a scout unit with
you have
long range ability.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so order 1, since they don't know we're here, like order 1 could be to the scouts to conduct an ambush. And basically what an ambush does is if you succeed in issuing the order, it adds +2 to your attack damage. So then, like say, for example, order 1 would be ambush. You succeed in your warfare check. Order 2 would be to order the scout unit to attack. So you would roll warfare against their discipline. If you succeed, they can conduct a marksmanship attack against one of the other units, let's say the raiders, for example. So whatever the agility is for the scouts, you add +2 to the damage before timesing it by degrees of success. And then you'd have 3 orders remaining. So like personal guard 1 could charge, personal guard 2 could charge, depending on the distance here, or remove an attack, or you can put them into different battle formations to give them higher combat defense, things like that. I have the book opened up, so I mean, if you got any questions or anything like that.
I've got the book too.
Okay.
But do we want to put on the scout token like a 25%?
Yeah, we can do something like that. I'll just 1 second.
There should be little moodlets you can put on them, and you can press 1 by hovering your mouse over it, and it should just put a 1 underneath the little token. Like if you hover over it, like click it, get the gear open, hit the moodlet.
Okay. And like bar 1 or something. Like okay,
you know the little circle with like the glass ball in the middle. Like where the little colors are?
Yeah.
Instead of clicking it, hit 1.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Like,
Hold
look at
up.
my token.
Oh, okay. Okay. So...
Instead of actually clicking it, just hover over it with your mouse and then hit a number.
Yeah, I am. It's not doing anything to scouts.
Give me control over them?
Okay. That's fine. You should have control of these dudes anyway.
So, Otto, how do we want to do this?
Yeah, so basically my suggestion is that if anybody attaches to a unit, they should control that unit. But you have 2 NPCs. Hey, Hermit, do you want to take one of them? I don't know if he's here, but Lou, which is Damon, and Jack, right? So
you can go ahead and put Jack, I assume, in his scout group.
Well, wait, because
do you have character sheets for Damon and Jack, or are they just
Yep,
kind of...
yep. No, they have character sheets. Yep, absolutely do.
Okay, so I have the book here, but somebody can probably answer this quicker than I can try looking for it. Are fire arrows a thing?
Think.
Yeah, can our archers light up fire arrows and rain down on them?
I don't think unless you're already prepared to do that.
They honestly don't refer to fire arrows. I mean, they have, like, for the siege equipment section stuff on, like, burning oil.
They have wildfire too.
Wildfire.
Yeah, you definitely don't
just
have
need
that.
dragon fire, but we don't have an equivalent with us.
No, it doesn't really do anything, I don't think. Yeah, no, it doesn't do anything. It's just the archers will attack. That's it.
Okay.
So
what I'm thinking,
for now, I'm giving these all to Rivers, and then we'll decide who has them. So I think Hermit's not here. So who wants the NPC? So who wants Jack and who wants Damon, aka Lou?
I'll end up controlling them if nobody else wants to, but I would like help.
I think Rivers maybe should take Lou since that's his son, and then Mike, you want to take Jack?
Yeah.
That makes sense, I think. All right.
So what the entailments of this fight is going to be is, if we can't kill them all, we're here to retrieve Lady Talia if she's there. And then we might want to fall back. But if we can kill them all and we keep continuing, then we'll just murder them all. That's like the briefing that he gives. It's very short, very concise.
Okay.
Okay,
Covered.
so currently, Rivers has control of every unit. We can change that. But right now, that's the way it is. He's got Lou, which is Damon, and Mike should have Jack. Okay. What we do is we're going to do... the commander is obviously Garth. That's just the way it is. He... and everybody else is considered a sub-commander until... Well, not actually even true.
We get 2 sub-commanders.
Yeah, you get 2 sub-commanders. So who are the sub-commanders?
Obviously Otto, and then probably my son.
Whoever has the best warfare is probably the best move.
Yeah, and so it's probably Otto and my son.
Yeah, so just know that...
Theomar, do you have good...
I have 3 in warfare.
Okay. Does Lou have or rather, does Damon have a?
Damon has 3 as well.
Okay. Does he have any skills in warfare? Or is it
No, it's just straight warfare because he's not meant to be your son. But yeah, but I mean, I think that's who it would be based on.
Based on rank.
Yeah, based on
Seymour,
rank.
do you have any in warfare?
None yet. I'm more of a combat-focused guy. I was going towards warfare eventually, so...
Okay, yeah, no. Then it will be as, like, in the order of, like, who's in charge. It'd be me. Otto's obviously going to be, like, the primary commander in my book, because Garth's probably going to get in the thick of it. And Lou will be the treasurer. Damon, I should say.
Okay, so you guys can move your units in any way you see fit, not crossing like this line. So go ahead and set that. If you want to send them straight forward or whatever, that's fine.
Oh, well, where's Black Ben?
Oh, is he not out there?
He's hiding with the scouts. Yeah.
He got a finger up his butt.
Yeah, he's taking a super long grumper.
So I don't know if you could tell, but the orange units are like just denotating House Hilwood, and then the personal Damon's is the blue, and then the red is Jack.
Okay.
And that one there is just to show that that's a quarter.
The one where?
Yeah, I don't see a 1. Oh, here?
You mean under the orange thing? Okay.
Yeah,
Here?
under the orange thing.
Okay,
Yeah, I got you.
That makes sense. Okay, so Hilwood Scouts health have 9, so they're going to only have 3 health. We'll just do it that way, make it easy. Okay, so each commander rolls a warfare test. So the 3 commanders on House Hilwood roll their warfare.
Now, is it straight warfare or like command?
It is
tactics?
warfare command, I believe.
For initiative?
Or is it tactics?
It is tactics.
It is tactics, yeah.
Hold on. Is that each, or is it just at the start?
Each commander. Ooh. Each commander does it. And we'll just go back and forth. We won't. I don't know if it says.
Does this count as a round?
This is the start of the round. This is the initiative of the first round.
Okay, all right.
As the commanders get into place, Black Ben looks over to Jack and points towards the enemy and go, arrows go that way.
He just like hoists his axe off his back and he's like, how about into your back?
That would be unsurprising.
Before the fight goes on, Garth kind of, like as they're getting ready, set up and all that stuff, like Garth just kind of, gives a nod to all the like leaders, quote unquote, and he gives like a clasping shake, one last like shake to Otto, and he says, "This is for your son, Otto."
For the house, my lord.
Then he just kind of nods his head.
So, as you guys, you guys are going first. As you guys start moving into position, they just like start rousing very quickly, but they're still kind of out of position. So the first 2 rounds of the combat, all your discipline all your attack checks are +2, and any personal combat checks are +2. So basically, fighting, marksmanship, warfare are +2 for the first 2 rounds. Discipline are as normal. I have all that stuff figured out, what the disciplines are and everything. So right now we're on step 6, if you can believe it. So the first person action. So Lord Garth gets to go. He is the commander. He can attack. Well, he can't attack a unit because he's not in range, and so he can either attach or basically do nothing. And if you attach, then one thing you should know is if you attach, you basically lose out on your second player actions to attack. Or your first player actions next turn.
Yeah, so basically, if I attached right now, I would just give static bonuses to the personal guard.
That's
but
correct.
If I don't attach, I get to attack things.
You can attack personally, but you would be able to do that only on your second player actions if you're in range. And so, yeah, that's up to you. But
I think Garth and
it will
Damien
protect
are
you
going
too. That's another thing it does.
I think Garth and Damien are both going to attach to the personal guard units.
Yep, go ahead and do that. Then just move them over the top of the other tokens.
You'll have to bring Garth to the very top, like right-click him and bring him to the top because he's should be under options.
Got it. He's on top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now the other commander is Otto. You can attach to a non-attached unit, or you can stay out there, essentially.
Now, here's a question
Sure.
that I didn't get to ask.
Mhm.
Let me go look at the book, but do I still get to issue commands attached to something?
Yes, absolutely.
Then...
You absolutely
Okay,
can.
because I was about to say...
There's first player actions. So let's go over them. Renounce command. So you can give command to somebody else. You can attach, which you did. So this is like a normal combat round almost, right?
Yeah.
But you have just like different things. Attack a unit, which you can go full insane and attack a full unit, or you can attack portions of the unit, which is what you would want to do. So that's all you can do, or you can organize and rally if your guys get like routed. Those are the only things you can do in your first player actions.
Okay, so we didn't do anything bad there.
No, absolutely. You're protecting yourself, essentially. And then next is orders, and you have a list of orders. And you don't have to be attached to do orders. You can be. It doesn't matter. Otto. So you can attach or nothing, essentially.
Yeah, Otto's not going to attach to one of the scout units, so I guess nothing.
Okay. So let's go with Black Ben.
He's attaching to the Hilwood Scouts.
Okay. Theomar?
I can't attach to personal guard at all.
No, they're already attached. I think.
Alright, cool.
I don't think you can do it. Yeah, no, you can just attach to one character per unit.
Alright, well.
Yeah, you actually can attach to protect yourself, but it doesn't give them any more benefits.
Yeah, I was going to say how I read it, not that it means that it's correct. You can attach as many heroes as you want, but it's not cumulative bonuses on the fighting, and they all still suffer the potential of dying if the personal guard unit is
or they get protected by it.
Yeah.
I would say that Lou needs, or Theomar, you should go over to Damien, or Damon.
Okay.
Attach with him.
Yep, you can if you want. So, because what that does here, move back south and I'll fix it. Good. That should work. So basically, that means that a unit can't attack you individually. Because if you get attacked by a unit individually, you're fucked. Is basically what that means. So, Jack?
Jack's going to attach to his bad boys.
Okay. Bring him back up.
Might need
I'll fix it. Bring him back down. I'll fix it.
Does Otto then want to attach to the personal guard then, or is he not attaching?
I think Otto is probably maybe sitting. What is he doing? Is he sitting back, or is he like...
He's not attached to a unit. You can attach to a unit. Here's the thing. If you attach to a unit, the problem is the second player action, you can't attack. So you get so the second player action you get step 6 plus what's in step 8. So essentially, if you have to detach, you can't attack, right? But if you are attached, you get certain defensive bonuses that you can't be attacked personally. So basically, right now, if he stayed unattached, if he moves with the rest of everybody in command, which he can, basically everybody has pretty much full access to the entire battlefield. He can attack. He can do an attack by himself if he wants, or he can attach and then go with everybody else and that sort of thing. But here's the thing, right? So you can't do both. You can't detach and attack. You can only attack or detach. Because they're all greater actions.
And so,
It's
as
up to
far
you.
as movement at this scale, are units just as fast as individuals?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. Movement, basically, you guys can move anywhere on the field, essentially. Yeah.
Well, then I guess Otto has to attach to the personal guard unit just to make sure he doesn't get singled out and killed.
It's not a bad idea.
So, yeah.
Now let me make sure you're... Okay, you should be able to pull them over top of one of the personal guards now. Okay, cool. So it's my turn, so I'm going to attach their leader to the raiders. And so now we are at orders. So the commanders get to issue orders. Okay? So you basically, you can move, attack, charge, defend. Those are the main things. Right?
There's also blitz, envelop, force back, hammer.
Yeah, all the special stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you tell me what you want to do,
What do you guys think? Or rather,
and who you want to do it. You get 5 move. You get 5 total. Like, is it Mike? Do you know if it's he gets 5 total or his whole thing gets 5 or what?
He gets 5 orders, and then each sub commander
Gets 1.
adds
right?
and exactly. And we're actually in a special position because we have personal guard units. Normally, when you attach, you lose that order, but personal guard. And let me scroll up and reread this. You do not lose that order with personal guard. But let me confirm that.
yeah, I was reading something about that too when I looked at the battle stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want like a consensus. I'm thinking about either doing a charge.
Yep, here it is. A special a commander or sub-commander can attach himself to a personal guard unit and retain the ability to issue orders.
So if you attach to a normal unit, you can't do orders.
Correct. So, like, for
Okay.
example, Black, Ben, and Jack cannot issue orders.
But they're not
because
commanders,
you
so it
attach
doesn't
yourselves.
even matter.
But we're not commanders, so you want, us to attach because we get the -3 to discipline since we're, leading them.
Yeah.
And we get the additional +1d to marksmanship.
Where is that? Say that. What page is that?
Page 112. It's in the house section. They kind of split it into 2, and it's annoying. Yeah, if you go to page 112, personal guard is where it says.
No, I believe that. Where's the part about losing your?
All right, let me scroll down.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You guys do what you're gonna do. I'm just curious.
I will find this while they're deciding. If you want my honest opinion, we need to get the personal guard in between. Either engage them and keep them, stationary so the scouts can rain missile fire on them.
What I was thinking of is doing not an envelop, but or maybe even an envelop on the raiders. Like,
Right, with the personal guards units, and like Ben was saying, hold them at range so that our scouts can take advantage of their missile fire.
Just remember, orders go back and forth. So you'll do an order, they'll do an order, you'll do an order until you run out.
And by the way, if you're looking for that, if you look on page 185 under the attached section for first player actions, where'd it go?
Attached characters can take no action apart from orders issued to their unit. But they can order their unit. Attached commanders and subcommanders cannot issue orders.
In the second paragraph, attached commanders and subcommanders cannot issue orders and reduce the overall number of orders by the normal amount.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, is each square representative of like 10 yards?
Yeah. Well, each double square, right? Forward. But, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this would be 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30.
Yeah,
you guys.
Garth is within charging range of the criminals, and Damon's personal guard is charging the raiders. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
We could. I think that's the way we should do it.
But you got to go one unit at a time. Remember that.
Yes. Yep.
Pincer could be also a thing too that we could do.
And just looking at the guerrillas' stats, I mean, obviously I don't know their experience level. We don't know their equipment level. But guerrillas only have close range and don't do a lot of damage. If they have upgraded close range, it's agility +2.
Oh, you quit metagaming, you.
Yeah, I'm a bitch, I know.
I'm voting for either something like Envelop or Pincer on... Like, because if we could do the majority amount of damage to, like, some unit of theirs and just wipe it out as fast as we can. But the thing is, are scouts in ambush, or rather, are they concealed? Because we can't do ambush if they're not concealed.
So, you could do ambush, but they have to move forward. Actually, hold on. Yeah, no ambush for this, because you're getting +2 for your rolls.
Yeah, and even without the ambush, I mean, it's still +2 rolls for, did he say 2 rounds?
Yeah, 2 rounds. +2 on your fighting, warfare, and marksmanship. So,
I mean, we're in a pretty good place right here. How we decide to do it, I mean, having leaders attached or units attached, it's -1d to charge, but it's +1d for having a hero attached. So all we got to do is hit them, and we're going to do a lot of damage. And I know we alternate orders, but for example, Black Ben's scouts are at 25, but they have 3 out of 9 hit points. If they get hit by something, they're probably going to rout.
I think I'm gonna charge these criminals. Let's say you, Otto, or even the raiders.
I think the criminals, and leave the raiders for Damon.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's. If that's what you're going to do, let's roll discipline. So you're going to do warfare command versus. Why didn't I put the discipline right there? It should be.
Otto, do you want to roll it, or do I?
My life, why didn't I do that? They're veteran, right?
Oh fuck! This is like an automatic success.
Yeah, the personal guard. I'm pretty sure we landed at veteran. Let me confirm.
The hell? Did all these disciplines, but they're not there.
Base discipline for a personal guard. They're veteran, right?
I believe they're a veteran.
Yeah.
Okay, base discipline for a veteran unit is 3. The discipline modifier for the personal guard is -6. So the amount you need to roll is -6 because you also have -3 discipline for.
So dude, what's scouts, by the way?
Scouts is Scouts is +3. So what's the training level of the Scouts?
I think they're elite, right?
I think that's right. Let me.
The Whores or my Scouts?
Your Scouts.
Elite is 0, so it's automatic, and then add +3 for Scouts. So I need to, or whoever rolls needs to get a 3 or higher.
Okay.
To execute the order.
All right. So basically, the Garth's personal guard can go. Discipline is not a problem.
Otto, if you want, you can roll it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, both of us
Just
can.
don't roll 4 1s.
I can re-roll it if you want me to do it, Otto. I don't want to step on your toes.
No, go ahead.
Well, you have a total of 7 actions, basically 7 commands.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna issue like a war cry and send his personal guard forward.
Okay. Good.
So it is. I need to roll warfare command.
Yeah, but it's automatic success due to their training. Yeah, that's plenty. So go ahead. So they charge. You're doing a charge, right?
Yeah.
And so combines with a single attack, -1d to its fighting, and then the attached guy gets +1d, right?
Yep.
Let me look. Yep.
So basically, you're rolling 4. So you can just roll 4d6, keep 4. 16.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Criminals.
And does he get the +2 on that roll? Is
He
that how this works?
he does. So
And I will not waste a re-roll to see if I could get higher. That's pretty high.
so 19. That's 3. That's 3 degrees of success. Your damage is. Where is it? Personal guard.
Let me see.
5. 15. So 15 minus. Yeah, this is not good for this. These guys. Alright, so, 1 second. So these guys are routed, I think.
Oh, wow.
They might be destroyed.
Does Hilwood have words?
I stand here.
I stand here, yep. So they are disorganized. Because you can't just be completely destroyed, I don't think. Well, actually, unit takes damage excess twice its maximum health. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you charge with your personal guard, and these guys are basically not quite up and ready yet, and you just run through them, striking them down left and right, just murdering people as they sit there, and pretty much you kill every single one of them that is sitting there in camp before they could turn around and do anything. So they are destroyed.
Garth just gives kind of like a war cry. His long axe with like a hammer head on the back of it just collapses into like a poor peasant.
Okay.
Otto, you can take the next one if you want to command someone.
It's my turn next, but
Yeah, no, I'm
Yep.
just telling him.
Yep. So you've done one command.
Black Ben cheers and notices the open distance between the raiders and scouts.
Okay, I'm going to do a attack. And so bear with me.
Personal guard. They're in the House and Lands chapter, yeah.
I think that's right.
So the raiders counterattack. They move in under the command of their leader, and they attack. And Lord Garth's personal Rituine turns and kind of keeps the attack from doing much damage. They come in, they attack Otto and Garth, basically keep you guys protected. And you guys suffer no real damage.
Nice.
So it's your command.
Otto, you can take this one.
Okay, I assume we charge the...
No, you can't charge because you can't move.
He can still issue commands to someone else, can he?
Oh yeah, you can issue commands to that same unit. It gets harder. But the charge, since you're right against them, you could do that. You can move up. You could charge the guerrillas if you wanted, but you can't charge the raiders because you can't move.
Maybe order Damien? I don't know.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you can do that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can do that. Yes.
Okay, and so first it is a command, warfare command roll.
Yep. And if that's the first, yep. Mm-hmm. That should be good. Don't leave me.
Yeah.
He's got a gimp knee. It's not his fault.
That's true.
I need my cane.
But instead of there against the guerrillas, let's position them here between the raiders and the scouts.
You can do that too.
That makes a lot of sense. That way the raiders don't,
So are you charging?
Should they survive? Yeah.
Okay.
And so now it is a fighting roll?
It is a fighting roll. You get +2 to it.
So
didn't I say don't roll 4 1s?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Oh my goodness!
So
destiny.
You could spend a destiny for an extra die. I'll let you roll an extra die.
All right, let's do that.
So that would be 5 + 3, 8. So it hits for 1 degree of success. What's your the damage of those guys are actually, I think, 5. So
is it 5? Does that include? But never mind.
Hmm?
I was thinking aloud and I was thinking wrong. Oh wait, okay. Charging increases the damage by 2. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. So yep. But I don't think he rolled one less die. Oh yeah, because there's guys attached. That's right. Okay. So they're disorganized currently. Okay, so you charge into them and basically strike many of them down, and they kind of look like they might be fleeing, but you're not exactly sure. They don't run anywhere quite yet.
That's right where we want them, so the archers can rain death down upon them.
All right. Okay. So the guerrillas that are back there, they're starting to get ready, and they get their bows out and shoot towards Damon and Theomar's led personal guard.
Holy cow.
The first one actually roll. So 17, and the personal guard's defense is...
It's 6 for armor, if you want to.
Yeah, 5. So that's 3 degrees of success. Yeah.
Do the personal guards have any upgrades?
Nope. No upgrades.
Okay. Well, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Black Ben would like to spend a DP to get rid of one of those 6s. If allowed.
Get rid of? I don't think you can just get rid of. I think you... Before roll, maybe.
Okay, no, that's fine.
What I'll do is I will re-roll one of them for you. How does that sound?
Works for me.
Oh boy.
So -4, so 13. So 13. That's still 5 versus 13. So that's still 3 degrees of success.
2.
I tried.
Personal guard. Okay, health is 9. Gorilla. So the personal guard with Lou and Theomar are now disorganized. So the guerrillas basically wheel around with their bows and shoot over top of the raiders into you, and a lot of guys are killed. And Damon takes the arrow into the chest and falls onto his butt and starts gagging from the arrow wound. Okay.
Oh boy.
So there's more commands to be given. We're still in the command phase. You still have 5 more left.
Do I take over for Damon?
Yeah, you should. Yep.
I'm gonna convey with Otto here. Your name's Rob, yeah? Are you Rob? No?
Yeah, I'm Rob.
What do you think? What do you think, Rob? I think we should press the attack.
Absolutely.
Maybe... How hard does scouts hit?
Your scouts would hit. Their damage is with a bow. That can't be right.
Well, they're only a quarter, so don't forget.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. They should be agility +1, so they should hit for 3. Yeah.
Well, I think Garth and Otto should smack them, and then maybe next turn we'll. Well, no. Do we want the scouts to fire?
I would think, if possible, another charge by Garth would be in order to the guerrillas.
Right.
Well, we can't because they're engaged right now. Yeah, the personal guard.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that if you're already attacking someone, you can't pull out and charge in the same turn.
Because that's a separate action. Is to fall back.
Yeah, I think you would have to fall back then, so you can attack the raiders or move and attack, but you can't charge since you're already engaged.
We could blitz. Actually, we could blitz.
You can't blitz simply because they're not in the a straight line.
Oh, that's right. They have to be in a straight line. Let's see.
The raiders are disorganized, remember, so any damage they take, they become routed.
Yeah, I think Garth is just going to attack. That does bring up a point. Yeah, they're just going to... If there's not a special attack, then...
I don't think in this scenario... there isn't really one here. I mean, you could do a...
there's an envelop.
That's what I was going to say, thank you. Where if they tried to run, you get a free attack on them, but I don't really see it working here.
Yeah, just I think your discipline's auto pass, so go ahead and roll your fighting or whatever.
Well, can I see how many degrees I would get?
How do you mean?
Because isn't that based upon your warfare roll?
Discipline is just I don't think it matters how many degrees you get. It's just you pass or you don't.
Yeah, warfare rolls are just to see if you successfully issue the order. Yeah. For degrees of success, you're thinking of the fighting roll that you're about to do.
Okay, well then they have 4d6, yeah?
I believe so, yes.
Is that with your plus 1d for being attached?
Yep, so you actually roll 5. 5d6 keep 5. Yep.
Oh, look, 5 ones in a row.
I'm going to re-roll that.
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'll spend one of my commands to re-roll that.
Yeah, okay.
At least 5 ones would be Yahtzee.
Yeah. A terrible, deadly game of Yahtzee.
So, you sweep through the raiders and start chopping them down, and essentially they start running out of here. They're in mob now. And he is going to try to organize. Oh, can he even do that? Rally. Okay. So he's going to rally. Okay, so somehow the guys running stop and turn back to face Garth and the other units, so they don't run off the field. I guess technically they should be here. Okay, this is your fourth order.
I think we're going to reorganize. Maybe Otto. Well, actually, it's Otto's turn. Go ahead.
Well, we gave Theomar the other unit.
Yeah, the other unit is disorganized. So if they would attack him, it's not great.
Let's attempt. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, we did Damon. It was Damon's turn the last time that we did it. Actually, Otto. So it was
Damon's injured.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be Otto's turn then to it.
Because he's the only commander. What's his face? Isn't Theomar?
That's correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought Theomar stepped in as the...
Theomar could be a commander. You can roll.
Oh, okay.
For him.
I mean, unless you want me to roll it, Theomar, if you're...
I think you guys have the same warfare.
Okay.
No, Otto has a higher one, I believe. He has 2 base dice.
Oh, okay.
4 base dice and 2 bonus dice.
That would still rally them regardless.
12 looks like it ought to do it.
Yep. So they're rallied. Yep. So
How much damage have they taken?
Oh, they took their maximum 9. So if they take any more damage, it's the same thing happens. Same with the Raiders and the Personal Guard. It's their turn again. So the last one, the Raiders are going to attack Damon and Theomar. Okay, so... Okay, that's a success.
And I would like to spend a destiny point if a 6 is rolled to re-roll that.
Technically, you can impose a 1d penalty on his roll.
Yep, so he can just roll 6.
Okay.
But since it's after the fact, how about we just re-roll the best?
Okay.
That's usually how I do that. What's that, Mike?
Oh, I was going to ask, was he doing that minus 1d on the warfare roll or on the fighting roll?
On the fighting.
Oh, on the fighting. Oh, yeah, perfect then. Then absolutely. Okay. So let's minus 1d. So let's see what we got here. Raiders roll. Oh yeah. Okay.
Are they minus 2d then for this roll?
How so?
1 for the destiny point being spent, and 1 for being being disorganized and rallied.
Yeah, but they're rallied at this point, so they're normal. They wouldn't have a minus 1d for that.
If the test succeeds, the unit removes all damage but keeps the penalties. I don't know. This is my first warfare.
Oh,
so.
keeps the okay, that's fine.
But it goes back to full health at least.
Okay, so they add like an attrition factor to this. Okay.
Interesting.
It's interesting abstract concepts, basically saying you're becoming less effective as a fighting unit, hence the cumulative -1d penalties from being disorganized and rallied. However, every time you rally from being disorganized, your health goes back up to full, kind of the abstract concept of you're back to a fighting force, though less effective at it.
Yep.
I mean, that's how I kind of read it.
It's like taking a wound in a sense.
Yeah, basically. So basically, them, and them both have that.
Mm-hmm.
So they attacked Theomar and Damon, and they aren't able to press any advantage whatsoever.
Sweet.
All right. Well, Otto, once more into the breach.
Yeah, let's try it.
This is our second to last order, by the way.
Yeah, because I re-rolled one. Yeah, I guess it'll just be Garth's unit pressing the advantage while Damien's is just holding.
That makes sense to me. Oh,
Okay, that's your discipline, so you can go. Now do fight. Or
No,
was that?
That's just the attack roll because I don't have to roll discipline anymore.
Okay, so that's fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are.
That's not with the +2, but
Well, you're down with +2.
oh yeah, because it's only 2 rounds. Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's enough to destroy him outright.
Jimmy Christmas.
So you guys go into them and cut them down. Finally, after they've given you quite some difficulty. And basically this guy burns his destiny point to attach to the gorillas instead and survive. And he doesn't have any more commands left. So you only have one left.
Yeah. But,
How many orders have been issued to Garth's unit?
This will be the third one. Or the
Yeah,
third
you
one.
actually probably should have rolled that because it should have been fine. But if you issue multiple commands to the same unit, it gets harder and harder and harder. But that's fine.
Okay then. We'll have the scouts. We'll have Blackbin fire on the gorillas.
Issue me an order.
It's just attack, right? There is no like fire.
You just
order.
roll discipline, but it's going to be fine. So yeah, just roll the marksmanship or whatever.
Let me go look at what their marksmanship is. The marksmanship is -1.
No. Scouts. The scouts have
No, like it's -1 on the sheet. I'll go look in the house.
Oh shit, that's not right. It should be at least a 3.
I was going to say, did they have upgraded marksmanship damage?
Says 3.
I know they spent 40 experience on marksmanship.
So if you spent 40, it should be 4.
So the marksmanship will be 5d6, keep 5, since I'm attached.
Yep. So that routes them. You just let a hail of arrows in there.
Blackbin and screams to Jack, "I have a quarter of the manpower and am more effective than you."
So essentially what happens is you've basically decimated the field, but the fighting envelops everyone, and you end up in odd, like, hand-to-hand combat with people as the fighting goes on. So, all right. So the big fighting is done, but there's more to come. Yep. Give me 2 seconds here.
Otto's big. Jeez, for a wiped out army, there sure is a lot of troops.
There's 10 people left versus you guys.
All fun.
That matter, at least. Yeah, we might want to do this.
Giant Otto.
All right,
I'm not the one with massive.
All right, yeah. Put you guys below this line, and I'll just say you guys go first, and then they go first. So
They go first, we go first. Yep. I think that's good. Yeah, I don't mind if somebody else goes first. Like before me.
Black Ben wants to try out his new crossbow.
go for it.
All right, this will be the only round I get to aim, since it requires a lesser action to load. So let's see here.
So give us a rundown on how Damon looks right now, as we like the melee kind of disperses and.
So Damon is he has a wound. So he has an arrow. He took an arrow in the chest, and he's been fighting it off. He doesn't look like he's gonna like keel over and die. So he has a wound. So when you act for Damon, just keep that in mind. So I'll just what I'll do is I'll actually add a wound to him, so it'll auto calculate that and be easy for us. One wound.
I'm waiting for Otto to be like fighting.
All right, now who did you attack?
The closest gorilla. How do I ping?
Just hold it down. Hold your cursor down. There's the guy. 19. Okay, so he has gorilla.
And that's a light crossbow, so the damage is 5.
And you have Pierce.
This does not have piercing because it is a light crossbow.
Okay. So that's 3 degrees of success, 5, 15. So you awkwardly kind of get it up on you hoist your right arm up on the elbow and sit your crossbow on it and shoot. And you're amazed that just how well you do, and it goes through his throat and kills him instantly.
Black Ben yells to Jack, "One more than you, bitch."
These two can't die. They have to appear in some later game.
It's the odd couple.
All right, guys, go ahead. You guys are going all the way.
I think Lord Garth isn't going to waste any time, and he's just going to like rush the most heavily armored guy he sees, which would probably be this raider, or at least the one in the front. He's not going to like go to the back.
Sure. So you can actually charge, and it gives you extra damage to your attack, but less attack, or you can just move and attack. It's up to you.
Well, he has reach, so I'm just gonna
cool.
smack him. So it'll be a charge and a reach from right here.
Okay, so you roll one less dice, and you get extra damage. Nine. This is the raider.
I think I did that correctly. Yeah, I did. I didn't add the extra damage, but...
Well, yeah, you don't really roll. So you attack the raider, and he has... So it's 1 degree of success. What's the extra damage for charge is the question. Yeah, +2. So your damage would be...
It's also vicious, so...
Yeah, that just means if you kill him. So what's your base damage?
Athletics +3.
Which is what?
7.
7. So you do 5 damage to this guy. You hit him, and he like kind of shrugs out of the way, so it's not the greatest hit of all time. So he looks at you and sneers after your attack. Okay. Who's next?
I'll take it.
Go for it.
All right.
Now, crippled, you can only move
Yes.
2. So you need to charge to get up there. That's the only way you can get up there.
I'm gonna do a charge then.
Okay. Versus the gorilla. Alright,
Yes, sir.
we'll roll it.
Ding.
What is your damage?
Athletics, so it would be... What is it?
It should be in your damage of your weapon, right?
Yeah, it's 8 altogether. It's athletics +3.
So
No, wrong one. I was looking at flail, not the ball and chain. I'm sorry for that. It's just a 5. And then with powerful, I would get
7.
yes, 7. Thank you.
Yep. So you hit him very hard on the shoulder and crush his shoulder, and he just falls over in a heap and can't stand up and just like must pass out from the damage, or maybe he even dies, but he's gone.
Shit.
Who's next? Otto?
Yep, Otto will run up here, attack this raider. Gonna have to roll mid.
Yeah, I just think it's 5d6 keep all 20. Yeah. What weapon do you have? Is it ball and chain too?
Ball and chain, yeah.
So you sweep your ball and chain around, and you come around to the side and just crushes this guy's skull and basically just caves his head in, and he drops like a lump. Sir Damon or Black Ben? Or, I'm sorry, Jack the Axe.
Let's have Damon go.
Okay.
What's his charge range? What's his agility? I can't see.
He should be able to move 4, I think. At least.
Can he move 4, or does he have to charge 4?
No, he can just move and attack 4. This should be fine.
Yeah, he'll move and attack the raider that Garth hit. Kind of like going underneath him or to the side and sweeping back around. Okay, I don't know his stats, and I don't have... Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you should have, like, his fighting or whatever.
I assume he has a long blade right now?
Yeah. So he comes under and stabs the guy underneath his armor into the chest, and he falls dead. So I think the last guy is Jack.
Yeah, let's have him, just shoot.
Well, who controls it? It just depends. Yeah, he has bow, so...
I had control of him earlier. I was going to say he can either use his bow or run on in.
Yeah, he's out of range for this round to move in, but he could shoot.
Jack, being intimidated clearly by Black Ben's magnificent shooting skills,
Oh my god.
decides to shoot at one of the other gorillas primarily.
Okay. I'm sure it's 5d6, keep 3, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me see if this works. Yeah, I might not have rolled the right thing.
Let's see. If he
It
did.
looks good.
No, that's actually, you just rolled. Yeah.
Is that with an aim action?
No, that's right. No, it's 5d6, keep 3. Not even an aim. It doesn't matter, it's 18.
Yeah.
So he, like, rears up and shoots over all these dudes and hits this dude straight in the eye and, like, drops him back, and he looks at you and he's like, "What were you saying, bitch?" Alright, so it's their turn. So here what we have is we have a charge action by this guy, and he attacks Damon.
Rip.
So let's see here. Okay. So, what is his defense?
His combat defense is 9.
9. That's not bad. And what is his armor rating?
You didn't put any in.
So he would have Brigandine at least, so let's say 8. So that still doesn't help. So 3 degrees of success. And, yeah. So this guy flings his flail around, swings it, and Damon tries to duck. But he doesn't duck quite low enough, and the spiked flail takes him on top of the head and just like basically rips off his scalp and drops him like a rock, and he falls before his father, dead.
Oh no.
Okay. And so now these guys move. So the criminals come up against one guy comes over Damon's body and swings up against Garth and just bounces off his armor. I'll do.
Garth is also like he's holding this long axe and a giant shield or a large shield. Excuse me. So he's like
bounces off. So the gorilla shoots Otto, and what's your combat defense?
10.
So, and what's your armor rating?
7.
So basically, they shoot at you, and it bounces off your armor as well. And these raiders move down here, essentially trying to flank you, and it's your guys' turn.
That's rough.
It is. Losing his son.
Like, I don't think Garth is coherent right now.
Roleplay it.
Like, he is, like, full tilt, just grabbing, or, like, swinging at this guy. He's probably, like, grabbed his axe closer to the head, like, grabbed the half closer to the head, and he's now, like, using it, like, instead of a reach weapon, he's gonna, like, step in, eat an attack from, I believe, the criminals, step in and, like, give everything this guy has got.
So you're gonna attack King, right? He's the one that killed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got.
Jiminy Christmas.
So 20.
Otto avoids the spider.
So it's 3 degrees of success. And what's your damage?
7 plus vicious and powerful.
Plus powerful? Or is it included?
Powerful doesn't do anything because I don't have strength.
Okay.
But don't worry about that. The only thing you need.
So 7 times 3, 21, right?
Yep.
Minus. Yeah, that's not going to get done. So, Lord Garth steps over his fallen son, and what happens? He obviously dies, but.
There's like a moment where he's probably like celebrating, and as the mace kind of comes back around, and like you see like a side view of like the body and him kind of recoiling the mace back around to deal with Otto, and then like the axe just catches him in the shoulder and brings him in close. Lord Garth kind of drops his shield, and his axe is just left in this guy's shoulder, and he just kind of like picks him up by his throat and just kind of mountains him and just kind of breaks his throat, collapses his trachea and stuff like that, and snaps his neck.
Okay. As you dispatch the last of them, the rest like flee, and your men, Black Ben, Jack the Axe, Otto, Theomar, all kill the fleeing men, and you notice a tent in the middle of basically not the village actually, and you hear like muffled screams. So essentially all the guys you're attacking are wiped out. They're fleeing.
I say we get.
Black Ben reloads his crossbow and approaches the tent with the crossbow at the high ready to go in, and hopefully the group is following with him, anxious to see if it is the lady within the tent.
Otto follows, ready with his ball and chain.
Theomar dusts off the blood and rubs it off with the piece of his cloth on, not his cloth, but the cloth of the man, and continues forward towards the screams.
Okay, so everybody goes ahead of Lord Garth, and what they see in front of them is who they know is Lady Talia. As they get inside, her hands and feet are pulled behind her back and tied, and her knees are tied open. She's partially naked. She has a top on, but she's completely naked from waist down. On her face, she's been beaten. Her eye is closed, completely closed. It looks like somebody has cut around her eye as well. And her, like, one side of her face, left side of her face is huge and swollen. And her mouth is gagged. And when she looks up and sees Black Ben, who she knows, she, like, starts trying to say something through her gag, like, quite excitedly.
Black Ben sets his crossbow to the side and rushes to the lady to try and remove the gag and see what she's trying to say.
As you remove her gag, she's just like, kind of coughs and just kind of says help over and over and over and over again. And Otto looks over your shoulder and looks sad, and then, of course, Lord Garth is to come.
Otto sets about freeing her of the bonds and covering her and so forth.
So somebody calls out from the tent to Lord Garth, who is looking over his son, and he hears Lady Talia yell his name.
I think there's a moment where he's like looking over his son, and then he like kind of snaps out of like the combat paralysis, almost kind of like the slowdown effect, and he kind of like runs his hand over his son's eyes and, you know, looks down, and then he like stands up really fast and like sprints off into the tent. His axe and shield just kind of in the dirt next to his son's body.
Yep. And as you come in, you see what I described before, her bound and gagged and clearly being violated at some point, and her face deformed.
I think for a moment, like, Garth just, like, without question, he just, like, runs to her and, like, holds her close. I mean, that, and just kind of tries to console her as best he can.
And she doesn't even really say anything. She's just kind of like slumps into you, completely exhausted and relieved probably, and she completely just passes out in your arms.
Like, I think there's a moment where Garth kind of just, like, grits his teeth and, you know, picks her up in his arms, and he just kind of says, "We're going to kill them all." Every one of them.
Okay. And as you are all there, Jack rushes into the tent and kind of sees what's going on and flinches, and he's like, Lord Garth, there's a messenger from the lodge.
Yes, Jack, what is it? Hurry.
And he pushes the guy through, and it's one of your pages. And he's like, Lord Garth, the lodge is under attack.
He just kind of like grits his teeth. How long, boy? How long?
I left a day and a half ago. Got here as quick as I could to find you. I got lost for a while. I didn't know where you went. I looked for the Windwater, but I couldn't find you. I'm sorry, my liege.
Calm yourself, boy. Calm yourself. Otto, how long could the siege hold out? How many were their numbers, boy? Tell me.
He's like, I don't know. They were moving up into the lower towers. They were pressing us. They were killing us. It didn't look good, my liege.
Like he just turns to his men and says, we'll come back for the dead. We leave now. He kind of like looks over at Jack, and he looks towards like his wife, and he maybe kisses her on her forehead. And Jack, you know your way around these woods well enough. I need you to take my wife up to her family in the north.
Jack blinks and he's like, where? He's like, where in the north?
Seek the Umbers. And he like gives him like maybe he even gives him his shield. Yeah, he gives him his shield with his like sigil on it, the fancy one. And
Jack rubs his face. He's like, the Umbers you're talking about in the actual north. He's like, I've never left the Kingswood before.
And he like reaches into his coin purse, like that would be in his campaign or something in his saddle. And here's 10 gold dragons. Go now.
My lord, I know with the death of your son in your grieving, maybe it'd be better to send them to the keep to the southeast, out of combat, whatever the name of the house is, just southeast, that we thought Damon might go to. It would take weeks, if not months, to reach House Umber.
Where are they in the like next story out of character? Like
so you guys are pretty close to. You're just over the Windwater is the other house. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Where is the next story that Lady Talia is featured in?
Trying to get 9 years later.
And where is that?
King's Landing. Yep.
Okay.
She becomes the Lady of King's Landing after Lord Garth dies and all the heirs die, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, yeah, he'll just say, take her to the keep below, and he'll keep his shield this time. The keep to the south. Take some of your men with you. It'd be grateful if you could leave them with some of them with us.
So Jack nods and he's like, all I need is a half dozen men to help me carry her. And they quickly make a litter for her and put her on top of it. And he waits for you to say your goodbyes to her before they depart.
Yeah, I think he probably sends their son's body with him too.
Okay,
or his
that's fine.
Son's body with him.
Yep.
And he gives like the remainder of his cash, which would be about 10 gold dragons, and then he keeps them in. And he says, "Jack, I wasn't able to make good on my promise, but I hope this payment's enough, and there'll be more to come if I live."
Jack just turns and just says, "Keep my people safe, or at least have them fight for the Kingswood." And he starts to take Lady Talia and Damon's body away. And he looks back at Black Ben and he's like, "Kill some for me."
Safe travels.
No witty comeback. No snide.
Finally not.
His final goodbye.
Nope.
And so they depart, and they leave you with a huge amount of your men still left. It was a great victory, except what's supposedly happened to the lodge currently. And so that's it for tonight.
Yeah, and then, oh man, that's so good. That's so good. Oh, yes.
Excellent battle.
I gotta hit the hay.